Welcome to the Owlbear Bros podcast. Today we are talking about goblins.
Yeah, let's get right into it. So the lore of goblins. So let's start out with just some basics. So Ethan, I want you to tell me just like in one sentence or a couple words, how would you describe a goblin to someone who's never seen one?
Never seen a goblin? Well, probably the first thing they'll realize is they're really disgusting. Pretty disgusting small creatures with green and tannish skin.
Yep.
They have long ears and a big nose. They also sort of sometimes have a big forehead, but they also have brownish yellowish eyes, and they're about 3.5 feet to 4 feet tall. That's normally how that's how most goblins are. Stuff can change about them, but that's a general goblin.
Yeah. And in terms of kind of like the aura of them, like what they are, what they represent, is they're kind of like these impish little like, kind of like evil baby Yodas running around, but they're like deceptive, they're selfish, and also very cowardly. So they're like little minions. They are like almost the most classic minion, I'd say.
Yeah, very honestly, probably the most classic fantasy minion there is. Like like the staple beginners enemies for most campaigns in Dungeons and Dragons.
All right, so let's get into their stats a little bit.
All right.
Just so we have a background to how you would play them as a DM.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you just start listing things?
All right. Well, to start out with, goblins, they are little ants. You can sneeze on them and they'll die. They only have 7 hit points, which is basically nothing.
True.
Their armor class can be 14 or 16, which is actually pretty high for enemies. But that's them wearing armor with a shield, so they're actually well armored. Not the best, but
yeah,
like a high adventure will instantly kill them. Doesn't matter.
I have them as armor class 15, but that's wearing leather armor and with a shield. So if you're gonna take those off of a goblin, you have to take off.
Yeah, so it's basically like 13 to 16. That's like the max that they can get. It's 13 through 16. Okay. That's kind of like the range that most goblins are.
Right.
Because they're dexterous too, so they can dodge. Their challenge rating is 1/4. So that means a level 1 player can 1v1 a goblin.
Can 1v1 4 goblins. No, never mind. Sorry, you're right.
Yeah. They can...
a party of 4 can fight a party of 4 goblins.
Exactly. Right. And, challenge rating is kind of bogus in Dungeons and Dragons. It's kind of really weird. But basically it's saying that, like, one level 1 character will probably beat a goblin. But the goblin can still win your level 1. But, like, the level 1 player should win, basically.
Yeah, they should win.
They're easy. Very easy.
And if you are doing an XP system, the Dungeons and Dragons says 50 XP is
50
is what you should get for killing one.
That's actually pretty good, honestly. That's actually really good.
Yeah, I guess.
It's just good.
Not gonna help too much once you're at like level 10 and you need like.
Yeah, I mean they shouldn't even be fighting you if you're
XP.
They shouldn't be fighting you if you're at level 10. They should know. But yeah,
that's true.
Do you want to list their attacks that they have?
Sure. Yeah, sure. Well, before we get to attacks, let's just throw out the other remaining stats. So their speed is 30. So they're pretty averagely fast.
Yeah, that's as fast as a normal person.
Yeah.
Normal human.
So they got short legs, but they are quick. So that makes them about average.
Yeah.
In terms of their like modifiers, they're either average or below average for everything except dexterity. So that's kind of their whole thing, is being dexterous, being sneaky, hiding, dodging, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And they get a +6 to stealth. So they are supposed to be stealthy.
That's their go-to is stealth over strength.
If you're playing goblins, you'll want to use that stealth. That's going to feed into the other things we talk about in terms of how they use do combat and stuff. And then they have dark vision, and they can speak common and goblin, which is expected.
Yes.
But in terms of their attacks, they have a scimitar, which is like a curved short sword.
Yeah.
Just to make them a little less like normal looking. You gotta give them that like foreign scimitar look. You know?
Yeah.
Which does 1d6 plus 2 damage, and then they also have a short bow, which also does 1d6 plus 2 short damage, or just normal damage. And the bow will be favored, and we'll talk about that later.
Yes. So the base damage of a goblin would probably be 3 to 4 damage.
Oh, if you weren't rolling.
Yeah. If you weren't rolling, maybe 5, but like that plus 2 definitely helps.
Yeah.
A lot. But
so they kind of do chip damage.
They don't do a lot of damage, but for a level 1, if they get their max damage of 8, that's like half your health gone. Instantly.
True.
And if you're even like a wizard, you're dead.
Right.
So.
Yes, and then this is their final little feat here. They have something called Nimble Escape, and so as a bonus action, they can disengage or hide, and that will be very relevant for how you use them in combat.
Yes, that is very true. All right.
So those are the stats. That's kind of the boring stuff.